ago, in Egypt, there was a powerful king. He ruled the entire land of Egypt. Everybody was afraid of him, and everybody listened to him because he was the strongest man in all of Egypt. This king was called King Pharaoh. King Pharaoh wanted to keep his power, and he didn't want anybody to threaten him. So he had an idea. He took the Israelites, they were the Jewish people at the time, and he made them slaves. A slave is somebody who doesn't have freedom. The Israelites were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and all they had to do all day was work. And they worked all day and all night, and they suffered greatly. They lifted these heavy bricks and they built these pyramids brick by brick by brick by brick, and they prayed. They prayed to God. They prayed to Hashem. Please, Hashem, hear our prayers. We don't want to work so hard. We don't want to be slaves. We want to be free. Please, Hashem, help us and deliver us from slavery. Pharaoh had another idea. He didn't want anybody to threaten his power. And so he took the baby Israelite boys away from their mothers. He didn't want the babies to grow up to be strong and to challenge him. But there was one Jewish woman, and she was pregnant. That means that she had a baby in her belly. And she loved her baby. She wanted to keep this precious baby safe. She didn't want Pharaoh to hurt her baby. So she had an idea. She told the baby, "I love you, baby." So she took her baby and she put him in a basket. And she put the basket in the river Nile. She prayed to God. She said, "Please, God, watch over my baby. Protect my baby and keep my baby safe." And she watched the basket float in the water. And God was watching over the baby all day and all night. And in the morning, the princess of Egypt went to the river Nile, and she found a baby in a basket.
Is that a baby in a basket? I'm gonna call you Moses, and you're gonna be the prince of Egypt.
And she brought the baby's mother to be his nurse. She took him to the palace, and this is how Moses became the prince of Egypt. And he wasn't a baby anymore. He grew up in the palace as a prince. And he got older and older, and he was now a man. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian man beating a Jewish slave. Moses got so angry, he wanted to help this poor slave. So he got into a fight with the Egyptian man. And he had to run away from the palace. Moses ran away, and he wasn't the prince anymore. He started a new life far away from the palace. And he took care of animals, and he got married, and he had family, and he was part of the Israelites. And he was very happy. One day, Moses was walking alone in the desert, and there was nobody in sight. he didn't see or hear anybody. And that's when he saw it. It was a burning bush, and the bush was not turning off. It was on fire, and the fire was so strong. Moses was so scared. He heard a voice. It was the voice of God speaking to him from the fire. And God said, "Moses, it is time to help the Israelite slaves. Go back, Moses, to Pharaoh, and tell Pharaoh that God has spoken. It's time to let the Israelites go." And Moses was scared. He wasn't sure he was the right person for the job, but he knew that he wasn't alone. Moses went to Pharaoh and he delivered God's message.
Oh listen, oh listen, oh listen, King Pharaoh. Oh listen, please let my people go. They want to go away. They've worked so hard all day. King Pharaoh, what do you say? No, I will not let them go. No, I will not let them go.
He said, no. So Moses warned Pharaoh and he said, God will send plagues all over Egypt. But Pharaoh wasn't scared. He said, I'm the most powerful man in all of Egypt. I'm not scared of any god. And that's when God started to send plague after plague in all of Egypt. Moses picked up his stick and he hit the water, and the water turned to blood. And frogs came all over Egypt, and they were everywhere. And lice, there were lice all over Egypt. And Pharaoh didn't listen. The Egyptians begged him, but Pharaoh didn't listen. And God sent flies everywhere, and the cows and the cattle got sick, and the horse and the sheep, every animal got sick. The Egyptians got boils all over their skin. They had diseases and they begged Pharaoh, but Pharaoh wouldn't listen. And God sent hail and thunder, and locusts covered the land and ate everything in sight, and the Egyptians suffered greatly. But Pharaoh wouldn't listen. So Moses gave Pharaoh a warning, and he said God will send darkness all over Egypt. For 3 days, the Egyptians were in darkness. But the Israelites had lighted. When the Egyptians tried to light candles blew out, and they were in darkness. Moses told Pharaoh, God is giving you one last warning and you're not listening. This plague will hurt, and it will hurt all the firstborn sons because they will get sick. And Moses told the Israelites, paint your doors red, and God will skip over. He will pass over your doors and he will protect you. But Pharaoh's son got sick, and all the Egyptian firstborn sons were sick. And that's when Pharaoh got upset, and he told Moses, go. Take your slaves and leave Egypt. I've had enough.
Go. It's time for you to go. Go. It's time for you to go.
And Moses took the slaves and he told them, God has done it for us. We are not slaves anymore. It's time to break our chains and leave. And the Israelites followed Moses out of Egypt, and they ran away quickly because they were afraid that Pharaoh would change his mind, that the Egyptians were chasing behind them. And they got to the water and they lost hope, and they said, Pharaoh will bring us back to slavery. But Moses wasn't scared. He knew that God was with them. And so he picked up his stick, he prayed to God, and he split the water, and he opened the sea. And God made a final miracle because the water opened and the Israelites were able to run away, and they walked through the water. And when they finished crossing, the water closed. And the Egyptians were not able to chase them anymore. And they were finally free. They were a free people, and they were not slaves anymore. Hashem had listened to their prayers, and he had delivered them from Egypt. And this is why we celebrate Passover every year for 3,000 years, to remember the miracles that Hashem did to save the Israelites from slavery. And he didn't just save the Israelites, he saved me and my mom and my dad and my family and you. Hashem saved you and me and all of us so that we can be a free people, so that we can have our family and be Jewish and be proud and be strong. And the Jewish people, 3,000 years later, continue to say, thank you, Hashem. Thank you for giving us our life, and we are grateful. And we are here today celebrating our freedom, that we are here and we are strong. And you heard our prayers, and you have been with us every step of the way. This, my friends, is why we celebrate Passover. To say thank you to Hashem for the miracles that he made for our fathers, for you, and for me. I hope you enjoyed this Speak Up story. Join me next time for more adventures. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This was the Passover story.